Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Esoterica podcast, and thank you for joining us here. Now we're recording this on International Women's Day.
We are indeed.
This won't be going out to you obviously until much later, but we're recording this on International Women's Day, and on International Women's Day we'd like to do a huge shout out to producer Caroline.
Yes, absolutely.
And now producer Caroline is the wonderful person behind the camera that keeps us on track here at Esoterica.
Understatement.
And a huge understatement. And is actually the reason that Esoterica exists, is producer
Exactly.
Caroline. And is the face of our social media. So if you've been onto any of our social media, it's probably producer Caroline that you've been interacting with. She's actually the person who came up with the idea of doing a podcast in the first place.
She was, yeah, and she's the one. The thing you have to know about James and I is that we have, sometimes, on the occasion, we have good ideas.
Every now and then.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
However, we are notorious at procrastinating on enacting those ideas. And,
Yes.
actioning
Yes.
those.
Yeah.
And Caroline's really the one who sort of goes, okay, you've got these great ideas, let's actually do it.
Let's actually do something.
Yeah, let's actually do something, and she makes sure that we do, and that's, that's invaluable, really.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
so
she's a manager, really, in all sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And is the person behind all the editing of the stuff you see, and is the person that gets this content out. So, we wanted to just begin this podcast by sort of giving a shout out to producer Caroline. Who is awesome. And
we appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you, producer Caroline, who's sitting behind our camera right now.
Yeah.
No idea that this was the opening to the podcast.
Tuning the crank.
Yes, that's right.
We have budgetary restraints. She's filming on a Super 8 camera.
That's right. Yeah.
In 1080p.
Yeah, that's right. So
you wouldn't know it's 1080p, though,
yes.
because you watch it in your little window view. And
Yes, yeah. If you're even watching it, you might just be listening to this, and then you'll have no idea what we're doing. You see?
And this is another thing we've talked about as well. And just to sort of allay some concerns, we have... James,
I'm like, what?
for those who are listening, James just gave me a look like, oh, wow, he's jumped the shark.
Where are you going with
Where
this?
is Anthony going with this?
Yeah, where are you going with this?
So what I'm going to say is we started as a podcast and we will end as a podcast. Okay.
Yes.
So first and foremost, we are a podcast.
Yes,
and
we are.
obviously we obviously have video content as well. So for if it has ever been a concern,
Yeah.
listening to us, we are always going to cater this show to our podcast listeners and people watching. So
Yeah. I would encourage you, and I would encourage you, if you are listening to this podcast on other mediums other than YouTube, to pop across and have a look on YouTube and come and join us, because we try, as you said, we try very hard to do everything in an oral medium.
We do.
It doesn't always come across. We get carried away. Start waving arms around.
And if we annoy you so, like, if it becomes a burden or a problem, send all of your complaints to Caroline. Straight to producer Caroline's inbox.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But no, I think International Women's Day, it's kind of cool for us to be able to recognise and for us to say for those of you viewing at home, because again, you might not have had direct interaction with producer Caroline, but producer Caroline, who is the person behind this podcast. So yay, she's awesome. Okay, so moving right along. Actually, no, I'm not going to move along. There's a couple of things I'm going to do first. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about our beer of the week this week. So what is our beer of the week? Our beer of the week this week is Panhead Port Road Pilsner, which comes out of Lower Hutt there in Wellington. So we've moved up. It was stoked last week from Nelson, and we've now moved up to Lower Hutt, and we've been drinking the Port Road Pilsner. And what do you think of the Port Road Pilsner so far, Anthony?
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's... I mean, I'm about 3 in, so I think I must be enjoying it.
So it's always good.
No, it's really good. It's really nice.
It's quite fruity,
I don't
isn't
know
it?
what else to say. It's very fruity.
So on the only
It's very
scale that
smooth.
matters, Anthony, the only scale that matters, what are you giving the Porthead Pilsner here from Panhead?
Well, I'm going to give it a 4. 4 out of 5. 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 4 out I think that's a solid 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably sitting around a 7. So a really good beer there from Panhead. So we're really stoked. Thank you, Panhead.
Yeah.
Secondly, I wanted to mention that Anthony here is doing a triathlon on Sunday, isn't it? Sunday you're doing a triathlon. So this is coming up. So we're recording this on Friday. This will go out to you on a Monday. So by the time you're actually listening to this podcast, Anthony, you'll have done it. You'll either be
paraplegic.
You'll be dead.
But capsized or something.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what are you doing in the triathlon, Anthony?
That is yet to be seen. I'm meant to be kayaking. Now, the problem with this is that this is about to get a little bit political, funnily enough. So I'm meant to be kayaking in Pandora Pond. Yeah. However, because of the rain we've had, and danger, and because there's meant to be rain very early Sunday morning, it's going to be contaminated. And this is actually a serious issue.
It is.
It's a serious issue for Napier, and we actually we know the person whose daughter actually was affected really severely, and it's actually quite horrible, and isn't good enough that nothing's been done about it for about a year now. No answers or anything. So I'm going to be kayaking in a cesspool.
So what you're saying is that this may be our last podcast.
It may be.
Anthony, you may be debilitated from kayaking. But I want to come back to something else. This is a triathlon.
Yes.
And you're kayaking.
Yeah, so how it works, James,
I like... Triathlons have obviously changed a little bit since my day.
So it's a team. It's the team-based section. So each team member does a section of the triathlon.
No. I get that part. But back in my day, a triathlon, which was many years ago.
James says as a baby boomer.
Actually, the greatest generation. I think you'll find.
Sorry.
Was running, swimming, cycling.
Yes.
I don't remember kayaking being part of a triathlon.
They weren't invented yet.
No. So is this in place of swimming? So is it running, cycling, kayaking?
Too. There's swimming as well. The swimming is before the kayaking.
Okay. So what?
It's a dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron. So what is part of this triathlon?
The thing is, James, I don't have all the answers. Okay. So there's in our team we have kayaking, running, and cycling.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Kayaking, running, and cycling. Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's kind of in place of swimming.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it's in place.
So, our lighting just changed for a minute there, and it went to blue. So we're experiencing a really strange glitch at the moment, where every now and then when Anthony and I put a beer down, the lighting changes.
Yes.
Which is...
I can confirm.
I don't know why.
I can tell you why. It's because earlier James and I were having an illegal rave in this garage. Studio.
Yes.
Studio.
Yes.
And we had...
I don't know what you're talking about garage. Why did you mention a garage?
I don't know.
Yep.
Just sort of... we had it on noise sensitivity, so that... Yeah.
Yeah. If you would like to actually see our illegal rave, you'll have to join the Discord.
You will.
There's... a video up there of our illegal rave that happened just before we recorded this podcast.
Yeah.
It is the only place that you will ever see this video. When you've seen this video, you will understand why it is the only place you will ever see this video.
Say famous last words.
Famous last words. But come and join us. Come and join us on the Discord. Come and have a chat. Welcome to everybody that's popped on this week. We've had lots of new people signing up this week. On the Discord, and it's been really awesome. It's been awesome to hang out with you all. So, moving right along, we're going to move into What's on Top. And now, actually, Anthony and I had something different planned for What's on Top this week. But we decided that actually last week, our podcast was quite serious last week.
Heavy,
it was quite heavy.
And that's fine.
Which is good, because I think every now and then we need to have those conversations, and we need to have... conversations that really make you think, and it was so awesome. Like, I've had so much really good feedback from people that I've talked to this week who've engaged in that conversation and engaged talking about how they feel about teenagers, how they feel about sort of that disjunct and stuff, and that's really cool, because that's at the end of the day, that's what this podcast is really about. Like is sort of having those discussions and that sort of thing. However, we decided that we'd go very last minute. Decided that we'd go with something a little bit more lighthearted, and this actually the idea from this came from the Discord user We Love Ant, which is to talk about a number of our top threes. So that's what we're going to do with this What's on Top. We're going to talk about a number of our top threes, and the question that was asked, and we'll expand from here, but the question that was asked is, what are your top 3 movies of all time? I believe it was phrased as, what are your favorite movies? Top 3 favorite movies.
Which is an important distinction. Because you can have your top 3 films which you believe are the best, which is very different from your favorite, because you may think this film has incredible qualities such as production design, cinematography, but that may be very different to what you consider your favorite. The kind of film that you would put on if you, I don't know, you have a spare Sunday afternoon and you just feel like blobbing out and watching something that's going to give you a sort of...
So we're going to do top 3 favorites, not necessarily what we think are like the top films in their genre, like films that changed the landscape, or anything in the top 3s that we do throughout the section. We're going to do favorites. And so what we mean by favorites is are things that we would watch or listen to or whatever over and over again, stuff that we keep coming back to, those good old favorites. So we're going to start with favorite films, top 3 favorite films. So Anthony, what are your top 3 favorite films?
You always feel really put on the spot.
I know.
It's
why do you think I asked you to go first?
Yeah, well played. My top 3 favorite films are probably Lost in Translation.
Do you know I actually haven't seen that film yet?
Haven't you?
I haven't.
I feel like it's one of those films where maybe you need to see it at a particular point in your life to really resonate.
I'm really worried about it, because it's one of those films that people talk about a lot, and they're like, oh, this is such a good film, it's such a good film. And you know, when there's that real hype around something, like you go in like with massive expectations, and you're sort of really worried that you're going to watch it and be like, yeah, okay. Yeah. It was okay. Like it doesn't and then you feel like you can't join that conversation with other people. Like so I'm kind of stuck in that point at the moment with Lost in Translation. I haven't seen it yet.
For me it's a comfort film. It's the kind of film I can watch and it just feels nice. Like it's like a blanket.
Yeah.
And I can relate to it on a lot of levels. But like I really enjoy, I mean, it's Sofia Coppola, so it's Francis Ford's daughter. And the cinematography, script, stylistically, it's amazing. The soundtrack's incredible. So the soundtrack's by Kevin Shields of My Bloody Valentine, who's known for his shoegaze atmospheric stuff, which is really wonderful. There's a lot of niche. The thing with Sofia Coppola is that she utilizes a really great mix of old and new music in a soundtrack. Like she did Marie Antoinette. The film, and she utilized a lot of bands like Air, like a lot of French bands like Air and Phoenix, and she quite often uses like a lot of UK electronic music like Aphex Twin and Square Pusher and stuff. So
Aphex Twin,
yes, yeah. So she's really great with that kind of thing. But Lost in Translation, of course, boils down to the two leads, who are Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, who are both phenomenal in it. Yeah. They're phenomenal.
So that's number one. Give me your other two.
Number 2 is Spirited Away, probably by Studio Ghibli.
Studio Ghibli, yeah.
So animated film, came out in 2001, I believe.
Phenomenal film.
An incredible film. Everything about it, animation, the soundtrack.
So you go Spirited Away over Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes.
By Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, I do. Howl's Moving Castle came out a bit later, but I did. I really like Howl's Moving Castle, but I feel like Spirited Away has a charm to it. There's a charm there,
I kind of agree, but like every time you talk about like Studio Ghibli, people are like, Howl's Moving Castle. Like,
it's interesting because I think because my brother Sean, I think he prefers Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
But I think it depends when you watch, like which film you watch first and which film you sort of click with first. Spirited Away, I think. The storyline, the music, it's the world building. In Spirited Away. I think the art.
It's a great film.
Yeah, you sort of you feel like you really feel like you're a part of the island.
It's that I like to me whenever I think of Studio Ghibli and like I know sort of people look to like Pixar as kind of the animated films as meaningful films. To me, I kind of go, no, Studio Ghibli was there before. And again, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, those kind of films really showed that animated films didn't have to just be cartoons. They could be really meaningful films that made you think about a lot of things. So if you haven't watched a Studio Ghibli film, I would thoroughly recommend.
Phenomenal family films. So if you have, I don't know, if you have kids or something, and you want a film to watch with your family, they're wonderful films in that regard. And everyone takes something away from it. And I think that's the heart of successful animated films.
Yeah.
So, and it's why Ghibli and Pixar are so successful, because they don't patronize their audience.
No, absolutely.
So there's something there for adults, there's something there for kids, and they're very human, and they don't shy away from difficult subjects, and it's why they're both phenomenal studios. And Ghibli's phenomenal. I mean, you could name so many films. My Neighbor Totoro, and and Laputa Castle in the Sky, and films like that. And they're just consistently brilliant.
Absolutely. All right, number 3.
This is where it gets hard.
It is really hard because generally you can go, boom, there's my number 1. Think a little bit and go number 2, and then number 3 you sit there and go, hang on, I've got all of these things that I would like come back to, like what am I realistically going to put in as number 3? So what's sort of sitting there for you for number 3?
The film I'm going to pick, and it's because I keep coming back to this film, and we've started watching it again recently. I'm trying to show producer Caroline it, is Children of Men. Which was a film by Alfonso Cuarón, which is a stunning film. You may know Alfonso from he directed the 3rd Harry Potter film, Prisoner of Azkaban, and he is an incredible director. And Children of Men is stylistically incredible. The cinematography, the world building, again, it's the atmosphere, the world building, and it really sucks you in. You really do believe this could be. The film came out in 2006, and I think it portrays the world in 2015 or something. But at the time, you sort of did think this is where the world's going, and it actually foreshadows a lot of things like immigration, restrictions on immigration and the way that they're treated, and people put in cages and things, which unfortunately is a reality for some people at the moment. But the cinematography cannot be understated. There are points in that movie where there are single camera shots from freehand held cameras for about 10 to 15 minutes. And they are stunning. And really, and it's really tense and incredibly well done. Everything about it's really well done.
Awesome. So I'll reiterate, these are films that we would watch over and over again, not necessarily what we think are the greatest films of all time. So for myself, like, actually, do you know what's really funny is we sort of had a little bit of a conversation about this before we started this podcast, and actually even just sitting here, I'm thinking, hang on a minute, no, my mind's changed.
Like reevaluating,
So films that I would watch over and over again, and I keep coming back to, and actually, funnily enough, I'm going to start with a comfort film as well, a little bit like you were talking about before. My comfort film, if I was really going for a comfort film, is The Princess Bride. And I know I've talked about The Princess Bride before, and I don't need to talk a huge amount about it again. I love it. I just love everything about it. I love the storytelling. I love the simplicity of it. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy every time I watch The Princess Bride. There's
It's
my
funny,
name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. There's like, I mean,
it's funny. I think the best films, you can't necessarily put a finger on why it's
no.
So
and funnily enough, like, I would turn around and go, it's by no means the best film. It doesn't have the best soundtrack. It's not. It's not even. I would argue it's not even particularly well shot. It's not like there's nothing about it that is phenomenal other than kind of the heart of the story itself. And I love that. And again, maybe it's the time that I watched it, and for those of you who haven't seen it, it's based around the character of Fred Savage, who's sick, being read this book. And I think as a child of the 80s, I mean, Fred Savage was the ultimate child of the 80s. Like, and it just, it resonates to me in that kind of childhood level. Like, I mean, maybe kids would watch it now and just be like, I don't get it. Like, okay, like I love it. Like, so that's my comfort film, and that's my go-to. The second one I've actually, as I've been thinking about this, has changed. My second one and my second go-to film that I would watch over and over and over again is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, I love that film.
Yeah, it's Guy Ritchie, eh?
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie at his absolute apogee. That and Snatch.
Yeah.
Brilliant films. But Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, shot in a way, I think the cinematography and stuff like that, shot in a way that was so unique and so different when it first came out. Still, I think one of the directors that uses music in a way that almost no other director does. The music tells a story, as much as everything else does. Bizarrely uses this really wonderful technique. So in romantic music, this is me getting my music geek hat on. In romantic music, there's this wonderful thing called leitmotif, or this idea that different characters have musical motifs that appear whenever they do in a story or whatever. And Guy Ritchie takes this to the nth degree with every character in there, everything that happens. I've never seen a film, I think, that has so many quotable lines in it. I still quote lines from it, in general conversation. I love that film. I think it's clever. I think it's funny. I think it's one of the most tightly scripted films.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's not a wasted moment.
Not a wasted moment.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's probably number 2. Nice. Number 3, again, this is probably showing my age. But number 3 for me is The Matrix. And I just suddenly sit there and think of all the films that I've left out, like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Do you know what occurred to me as well? Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, like those films that you watch over and over again. But but no, probably The Matrix. Yeah. And the reason that I say The Matrix is bizarrely, I actually love The Matrix for one of the reasons that you dislike The Matrix. So you don't listen to dislike The Matrix, but one of the things that you made you go, was we studied it in 7th form. What is you now, year 13, but we studied it in 7th form. And again, if you haven't read into the symbolism of The Matrix,
you haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I would challenge you to find another film that has as much symbolism in it as The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, literally down to the amount of frames from Neo's death, quotes within it relating to the Bible, Immaculate Conception relating to the ejection out of the pod, the names of all the the symbolism is on a whole nother level.
It is
within The Matrix as a messianic story. The symbolism is on a whole nother level, and I love that film. I do, as an action film, and it's very tempting to watch The Matrix and just go dumb action film. But Wachowski's, isn't it? Just so cleverly thought out.
It is,
and so well planned, and so
and
well
what a lot
done.
of people now don't realize about the film. So the film came out in forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was 1999 and
98, 99, somewhere around there.
And the thing that people don't realize now when watching it, it was so ahead of its time.
The slow motion moving camera,
that whole thing,
green screen,
that whole slow mo and that whole kung fu fighting, but in slow motion, and how tightly knit it was.
I've never seen anything like it before.
No, and it took a lot of cues from films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and stuff. It was very influenced by Japanese film. But it was so ahead of its time. And the special effects were incredible for its time. People were blown away by
absolutely. It was there was never I don't think I think you would struggle to find a film that was more zeitgeisty for its time. It was so progressive, but at the same time so zeitgeisty of the audience that it was aimed at.
Yeah.
It just hit exactly the right notes at exactly the right time. It phenomenal film.
And an incredible soundtrack too. It had like Rage Against the Machine. It had Minefields by Prodigy. Rest in peace, Keith Flint.
That was,
which is really
this week, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it had Rob Zombie and like stunning soundtrack, really incredible soundtrack.
Okay, so I'm gonna relax the rules a little bit and go highly commended. So just fire out some quick fire highly commended. So for me, Nightmare Before Christmas, Rocky Horror, as you said before, Wit, phenomenal film. If you've never seen Wit, phenomenal film with Emma Thompson in it. If you've ever doubted that, Emma Thompson is a fantastic actress, watch that film. Amazing film. I don't know. I'm sure if you come up with some, I'll also go, oh yeah, that's right.
Paris, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Return to Oz.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men. Really, you didn't like that? It was so good.
I'm gonna call No Country for Old Men. I'm gonna call a little bit Emperor's New Clothes on No Country for Old Men. I really didn't get it. Really didn't get it. Like I watched it and I was just kind of like I watched it because it was part of in that particular year. I can't remember the year off the top of my head, but
2008,
2008, somewhere around there. Oscar buzz. Oh my god, this amazing film. You have to watch this film. And I watched it and I was kind of like, I don't know that I get it. Like I was kind of like, okay.
I thought it was very straightforward. No, but fair enough. And that's the thing you've got to remember as well. Everyone takes something different away from films. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated for I don't know how many Academy Awards, and I thought it was
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yes, I've been meaning to see that. And
great film.
Yeah, and it has all the hallmarks of a film.
Great film.
The other one was just Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yes.
Phenomenal. It's one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a film.
Yes.
That just encapsulated it was just so funny.
Moulin Rouge.
Yes, Moulin Rouge.
Of all the Baz Luhrmann films, Moulin Rouge.
Romeo, special mention to Romeo plus Juliet.
Plus Juliet.
A stunning rendition of that.
Yeah.
Just gonna be
Memento.
Memento, incredible.
Memento.
Yeah, so that's
Guy Pearce. That's the lead actor is Guy Pearce.
Christopher Nolan.
And Christopher Nolan.
Who of course,
can I say Batman?
Dunkirk,
like
Dark Knight Batman,
Dark
which was stunning.
Dark Knight Batman.
Yeah. Interstellar, which was amazing.
Which was...
We're just naming films we like now. We're just going...
No, but I mean, there has to be some highly commended in there that you would watch.
Interstellar was one of the few films I've seen at the movies and I've walked away just... Yeah. Interstellar would just...
Again, I'll throw in there as a trilogy the original Star Wars.
Yeah, of course.
Again, I wanted to be a Jedi.
I think, and unfortunately, I think this is Star Wars has become a bit of a meme, and because of the recent films, we've sort of forgotten just how impactful, and because of the prequels and things, those original movies are still stunning. And I mean, everyone remembers that, but
okay, right. So let's move on to the second top three. We're going to move on to, which is sort of informed by this, is your top 3 favorite again. Not greatest of all time, but just your favorite, the things that you'd come back to over and over again. Top 3 TV series.
Number 1's Twin Peaks. I
haven't seen it.
Haven't you? Well, you've got to watch it.
I feel like I should. I feel like it's this massive, massive thing that I've missed out on. I
love David Lynch. I think there's something about his style of writing, and I think all of his characters are so. It's such a surreal experience. When it's very surreal. He's very good at building atmospheric tension. When he's very good at just producing caricatures out of people and making people sort of these exaggerated, bizarre. And Twin Peaks is set in a small town where a murder's taken place and it's shaken the whole town. But it's so unique. Twin Peaks is so unique in that you can't compare it to any sort of typical murder.
Do you know what's really bizarre is that I can relate things to Twin Peaks even though I haven't seen it. Yeah. Like, because it's so heavily memed, it's so heavily referenced that it's one of those things that you can still go, I understand that, even though I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to take a slight pause here and say I'm just going to remove the Genesis album cover here.
Oh, no, it's pulling.
And the reason I'm going to do that is because, unfortunately, here at Esoterica HQ,
we've got some
we have a little bit of a leak in the ceiling. And so unfortunately it just affects the bottom album here. So we're just going to
it's just taking
remove
that. Home by the sea.
I'm pretty sure that everything else is okay. It's just the bottom album that gets a little bit damaged. So we're just going to remove that one there. Okay, so number 2.
Number 2 is Stargate SG-1. Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, Stargate SG-1.
Good call.
I just love everything about Stargate. Stargate's, for me, I think a lot of it's got to do with, I grew up with Stargate. So Stargate premiered in 97, so I was 5 years old. And
it's kind of like your Star Trek, isn't
it?
It is.
It's like my Star Trek. And it's a program that I remember it very vividly. My dad was like, come and watch this. And it was like, and you've got to remember as well, Stargate SG-1, I think it played at 8:30 every night. When I was I think 5 years old, I was going to sleep at 7:30. So, but this was a special program that my dad wanted to introduce to me and watch with me, and I was 5 years old, and I watched Stargate with him, and to the point where I was in hospital when I was 13 for appendicitis. And there's a rule in hospitals where TVs have to be off by 7:30, but I was watching Stargate SG-1, and I sort of gutted I wasn't going to be able to watch it. And my nurse at the time, he was a wonderful guy, just such a great guy, to the point where as I was leaving, I wrote him a thank you card, and he came in and sort of said, "It's all right. We'll bend the rules. You can watch Stargate." And he put on the TV, even though there was like a lock on the TV, like from 8:30, and he stayed with me and watched Stargate, and like made sure that I could watch Stargate, and that's really special. I think
for those of you that don't know, I'm sure Anthony won't mind me sharing this. For those of you who don't know, Anthony actually nearly died.
Oh, like, no, that's I don't know.
No, it kind of is, because you didn't go to the hospital until your appendix had actually ruptured. It wasn't like you had appendicitis. It was like your appendix had ruptured.
It had. It caused. I actually had to go back because because it had ruptured. They'd left the bits left behind, and I had to go back. Yeah.
Okay, number 3. So
number 3. Oh, see, this is really hard. Number 3 is really hard.
I'll allow you some highly highly commended once we get through it, because there's a few. I'm already thinking the same thing.
Goodness me, I don't know. It's The West Wing.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Stunning TV series.
Yeah.
Incredibly well written. It's Aaron Sorkin in the first, I think, 3 seasons or 4 seasons. He leaves in season 4. No, it could actually be season 2. So, but incredible writing, great characters. To this day, I think the best female character in a show of all time is CJ Craig. Who was the press secretary in The West Wing. She is amazing. That's played by Alison Janney. Yeah. She's like my hero. She's incredible in it. And just like such a well-written woman. Yeah. She just, every room she walks into, stunning. Nice. I love The West Wing.
Nice.
And unfortunately, it very much is sort of a Democrat's wet dream, I guess, of a show, because it's Aaron Sorkin's sort of view of how the government should be run. It's a very idealistic way of how it should be run. And you sort of watch it now and get depressed when you think of how it's actually being run right now. When you see like Manafort's just been convicted, and so it's very, very good. It's very, very good. Very idealistic, but very, very good.
All right. Yeah. So my top 3 again. Slightly different. Number 1 would be Full Metal Alchemist.
Nice.
which I honestly think, like Full Metal Alchemist really introduced me to anime. It was the first anime that I really watched was Full Metal Alchemist, which probably isn't a great starting point in terms of it kind of ruins anime for you because it's like one of the best anime of all time. Fantastically written series. Again, for anybody who sort of wonders whether anime is a legitimate kind of storytelling medium, watch Full Metal Alchemist. Like a fantastic story, really well done. Love it. See, and this is where I start to struggle now. I'm gonna say number 2. I'm gonna say Pushing Daisies. Pushing Daisies, again, magic television series. The way it's shot, the style, I've never seen another television series like it.
I haven't actually seen it, so you'll.
It's based around a guy that the premise is really cool. It's kind of done in a really weird kind of film noir way. The premise of the series, is that your lead character can bring dead people back to life by touching them. But if they're alive for more than a minute, something else of equivalent value nearby has to die.
Oh.
So but if he touches them the second time, they die permanently. That's it. He can never bring them back. And they solve murders through this. It's a phenomenal TV series. It's done in a very, very cutesy film noir way. Phenomenal story writing, phenomenal costuming, just it's so stylistically good. Has Kristen Chenoweth in it, for those of you that like Kristen Chenoweth. It's so well done. It's one of those lovely series that really should have got way more sort of audience than it did, but didn't, and consequently kind of was cancelled. Phenomenal TV series. You should really watch Pushing Daisies. And look, the third one, can I really get away with saying anything other than Doctor Who? And I was talking to Anthony a little bit about why, my abiding love for Doctor Who, and why I love Doctor Who. And I was saying that Stephen Moffat, who was the showrunner from sort of the end of David Tennant through to sort of the end of Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, I think he summed it up incredibly well. And what I love about it, and I think why it resonates so strongly with me, is, he was like, he's the only hero that we kind of have canonically who doesn't have a tank, doesn't have an X-wing, doesn't have a laser sword or a gun, or beats people up or whatever. He's bizarrely an alien who is more human than humans. Who arrives with a screwdriver to fix stuff. That's his weapon of choice, is something that fixes things. And I think that's really cool. And I love that. And what Doctor Who does is it goes, no. Violence is never the answer. There's always, if you are smart enough and you are brave enough, there's always a way you can think around a problem. There's always a way that you can solve crises by really thinking about it and being brave. And I think that's a really cool message to give people. And that's what I love about Doctor Who. Watch it. It's amazing. Okay, honourable mentions.
MASH.
Yes! Yeah, absolutely.
MASH has to be.
If we're best balance of comedy versus...
we've been talking about favourite favorite TV series. I think if we were to talk about the flat out best TV series of all time,
MASH would have to be up there.
MASH would have to be up there, if not the top spot.
In the thick of it. If you've ever watched In the Thick of It, if you ever want to see why Doctor Who fans were so excited about the idea of Peter Capaldi playing the Doctor, watch In the Thick of It.
Okay.
It's an English political mockumentary that sort of deals with a fictional government with Peter Capaldi as their spin doctor. It's phenomenally well written. In the thick of it, brilliant TV series.
Wow.
What else is up there for you? That I'd watch over and over again.
Well, what's it? I really like Darker Than Black. That's an anime.
Nice.
Really like Darker Than Black. Very dense, but really, really great.
I'm gonna jump in here and Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I watch it over and over and
it's
over
very,
again.
Very good.
Great TV series. Communities
earlier seasons up to season 4
Community
4.
Community, great TV series. Actually finding a TV series, like when you take them as a whole,
really difficult.
Boston Legal.
Boston Legal.
I love James Spader and William Shatner. So good.
Scrubs. Yeah, really good.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
No, I'm struggling now. I'm sort of thinking when you think of a series as a whole.
And I'm sure there's other things out there. And so jump on the Discord and let us know what your top 3 favorite films or TV series are. Because we'd be really interested, and I'm sure there'll be stuff that you'll come up with that we go, that's right, that's amazing, that's awesome. Like, such a good TV series, American Vandal. Such a good TV series,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Such a good TV series, like that we'll suddenly go, that's right, that was amazing. Okay, moving on into Uncanny Valley.
Indeed.
Now, I've been looking at all sorts of interesting things online. Not in that way. All sorts of interesting things online in terms of weird and wacky news stories from this week. And I've got a number, so we'll see how we go, and we'll see what we get through. But I have some real bangers for you today, Anthony. See, what I love about Uncanny Valley is generally a section that Anthony doesn't know about until we get here, because I try to save some stuff for interesting reactions. So I've been waiting to share this one with you all day, because I legitimately think this is hilarious. so the title of this article, which is really going to give away sort of where I'm going with this, is now this comes from the Huffington Post. This is obviously American. The title of this article is Unlicensed gun owner accidentally shoots himself in penis.
I love how it's not even accidentally shoots his penis. It's
no.
He shoots in penis.
He shoots himself in penis. Yeah, the victim.
What do you mean in penis? Like, it's one thing to shoot your penis, but it's another thing to shoot in your penis. And I love how the first thing is distinguishing that he's unlicensed. Like, well, if he was licensed,
this plays into the article. This gets better.
Here we go.
Now, this is by David Moyer, who's in the Huffington Post, who's the guy that brought us the wonderful article about the guy who injected himself with semen. This is the same guy.
What is his obsession with penis?
Can you imagine?
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. No, don't get me wrong. That's fine.
Can you imagine poor David Moyer?
Fine,
who's
but
like,
is that
his
tag in articles?
He's legitimately like, I went to journalism school to do like the hard hitting stories. They're like, you get to do the Muppets who do like stuff like inject themselves with semen or shoot themselves in the penis or like, that's your news desk. Yeah. That's what you're going to cover.
I mean, to be fair, it's the ones we're talking about.
So the victim, who remains in hospital, didn't have a license to carry a handgun in Indiana, police said. An unlicensed gun owner in Indiana is recovering in a hospital after accidentally shooting himself in the penis.
We should be laughing. We should be
it's
crying.
Funny. Mark Anthony Jones, 46, told police in Marion that he was taking a morning...
It's a bad place to stop. It's like, taking a morning walk. Exactly. James, please indulge us.
He was taking a morning walk.
With his gun.
When the high point 9mm handgun he was carrying in his waistband began to slip, according to the smoking gun. Jones told the police that when he reached down to adjust the unholstered gun, it discharged, shooting a bullet that entered just above his penis and exited his scrotum. Oh, no! No, I can't do it. Jeez. Christ.
There wasn't, see, when you said it entered the top, I just thought, okay, it's straight through, it's clean. But no, it went right.
It went right through. And so he's walking along with this handgun in his belt, right?
He sounds like an idiot, by the way.
Down his
no, he sounds like an idiot.
And
if he's got
starts to slip. And so he goes to grab it and accidentally shoots himself in the
So
penis.
not only is he unlicensed, he's an idiot because it obviously wasn't on safety and it was loaded. It was loaded in his waist belt. He deserved this. He deserved this.
It gets better.
He deserved this.
It gets better.
This
gets better.
Justice.
The release notes that Jones...
The release notes.
Yeah.
Is it
the release
notes? Is that how you describe the bullet passing through?
So the release notes from the police, because obviously it's an unlicensed firearm. The release notes that
also it's an unlicensed arm.
Jones didn't have a license to carry a handgun in Indiana. Investigators had forwarded the case to Grant County prosecuting attorney, who will determine if Jones will face any criminal charges for the self-inflicted gun wound. So not only did this man manage to shoot himself in the penis by carrying around a gun in his waistband, he now could potentially face criminal charges for having an unlicensed gun in his waistband in the first place.
Good. No, I agree. That's good.
Oh,
no, good. Because he's unlicensed. He had a gun just sitting in his waistband like an idiot. It was loaded. Apparently, it doesn't have a safety switch. Like, it serves him right.
I just love that he's walking along. He's legitimately walking along, and it starts to slip out. And he goes, "No, I've got to grab my handgun," and then shoots himself in the... And then, can you imagine how embarrassed you'd have to be if you're calling your girlfriend or your wife or your family, and they're like, "Why are you in hospital?" You're like, "I shot myself in the penis. I've been shot." "Oh no, what happened?" No, I did it to myself."
He's a Muppet. And I think I hate him. I do. No, I do. I think...
He nearly blew his own penis off by carrying a... This made my life.
Good on him.
This made my life.
Well done.
The second story that I want to share with you.
By the way, it serves them right. Justice served. You have a loaded rifle in your
loaded pistol in your pants.
And then when you go to grab it, you somehow toggle the safety and shoot yourself.
It's so funny.
Well done.
So I also thought that we should say that Nessie, the Loch Ness monster.
Now hold on, James. What's the source?
No, this is the Mirror. In
James said that like
no. Legitimate news source.
This is the Mirror UK.
This is the Mirror.
All seen alongside and trustworthy news aisles alongside the Sun.
Yep, that's right.
And the Liverpool Echo.
Yeah, that's right. This is the Mirror. Nessie has been seen
It's been a while since I've heard about Nessie.
Well, yeah, no. I think it was, and I'll get down to the bottom of the article, but I'm pretty sure old Nessie was seen a few times in 2018. But this is the first sighting of Nessie in 2019, so it's good to know old Nessie's still kicking around.
That's good.
For those of you that don't understand what I'm talking about, this is a Loch Ness Monster. So it was February 23rd.
Oh, okay.
So February 23rd, it's the first time, Nessie was seen in Loch Ness. I love this. And then on February 27th, a regular Nessie hunter, so this is somebody that spends their time consistently looking for the Loch Ness Monster.
They wear one of those like safari hats.
Clearly, spotted the monster on an official webcam. Like, I'd like to know what an official webcam is. How does one go about having an official webcam? So they were driving along, and all of a sudden, they saw an object that looked like Nessie. We were driving around the loch, and as we got to Urquhart Bay, just before the castle, I spotted a dark object around 3 foot tall above the water surface. I shouted, "Oh my God! I've just seen something!" He slowed down the car, didn't believe me, but each to their own. By the time I'd got the camera ready on my phone, the object had lowered into the water, so I only managed to get as much as I did in the photo as it disappeared into the water.
Is there a photo there?
I made him turn around to the castle and go back to see if we saw anything else, but unfortunately, we didn't.
Is there a photo?
Ed O'Fadigan from Castlefin, County Donegal, an avid Nessie hunter, used the webcam to capture a dark shadow at the south side of Loch Ness near the Clansman Hotel. He said today, "It's a great feeling when you have photographed something out of the ordinary in Loch Ness." Nessie is the dark shape on the surface of Loch Ness on the opposite side of the loch. I've been watching the webcam for about 20 minutes on the afternoon of the 27th when I noticed a dark object appear briefly, seconds, and then it was gone. I replayed the live cam but stopped to take the photo without zooming in. There was no other boat traffic on the loch at that time, and the loch was calm. I knew immediately I'd spotted Nessie. And not a boat. Boats do not disappear from screen, but there was no further appearance of an object in that area. 20 minutes worth of watching. So what I love about this, and I would get producer Caroline to repost this article in the comments for you to see, because there are photos. There are photos.
Can producer Caroline put the photos up?
So producer Caroline will put these photos up. Now what I love about these photos, right, is I love that we all have phones with digital cameras on them.
We do. The future is now.
These digital cameras tend to be quite good. What I love about these Nessie photos is they are legitimately the worst photos I've ever seen taken from a cell phone camera.
It is Scotland though.
Ooh, what's your hate for Scottish people? They're legitimately terrible photos.
Retract that.
Like I would like you to have a look at this one. This is the. It looks like a duck.
They've also put a red circle around.
Just in case you didn't know what Nessie was.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah. Does that look like a great cell phone camera to you? Now,
no, it looks like a bit of trash.
If I was a frequent Nessie hunter, as these people claim to be, if I was here's the other one. Look at that stunning.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Stunning.
What is that? It's a blob.
What is that? It's a blob.
Yeah.
But look at that. Like, it's the world's worst photo, right?
Yeah.
If I was a Nessie hunter, if I was somebody that was like, I'm going to make my life's work finding the Loch Ness Monster, I'd invest in a better camera.
Yeah, I would too.
I wouldn't be sitting there going, no, this blurry image, this is
fine.
Supports the fact that the Loch Ness Monster is real. £27 million, by the way. £27 million is how much the Loch Ness Monster is worth to the Scottish economy.
Really? Wow.
In what do you call it? Tourism, that sort of stuff. Okay, another item from the Mirror, because we're really going to the top of news sources. The Mirror. Is this actually going to load? No, it's not going to load, because it's going to actually ask me to fill out a questionnaire in order for me to do this, and I'm just going to click random answers because we know that this is actually about KiwiSaver. So I'm just going to.
This is why surveys are a waste of time, by the way.
They are. At what moment have you considered changing your KiwiSaver provider? I never have. Okay, here we go. So, Fruitarian man swears by drinking pint of old urine each day to feel amazing. Fabian Farquharson, there's a name for you. Fabian Farquharson used to enjoy his urine fresh, but now ferments it for extra health benefits.
Okay, so the journalist has already acknowledged the fact that we've moved on. Like, we've all accepted the fact that he drinks his own urine. Mm-hmm. But now it's fermented.
But now it's not fresh, it's fermented. Right?
So we're just going to skip over, we're just going to gloss over the fact that, okay.
So a balanced diet, 8 hours of sleep and 20 minutes of exercise a day. We all know that these are the building blocks of a healthy lifestyle. Fabian Farquharson, however, has his own trusted well-being method, and it's probably not to everyone's taste. For the past 3 years, the 37-year-old interior designer has been gulping down a rather unusual concoction. Having read up about the so-called health benefits of urine, Fabian from Sheffield now happily drinks a pint of his own product every day. Fabian began researching alternative therapies back in 2013. There's your problem. After continuously suffering from stomach pains, which the doctors had not been able to diagnose or treat successfully. I was travelling a lot for work and eating junk food, Burger King, McDonald's, anything convenient. Well, there's probably the source of your gut pain. With no cure or explanation. How come I can't just eat tons of McDonald's and Burger King and not feel like wonderful?
How can I help myself? Like, this isn't working. I'm eating big...
Yeah, I'm eating lots of McDonald's and Burger King.
I can't wait for...
And there's no explanation for why I feel rubbish. No explanation for why I feel rubbish. Fabian decided to adopt a more holistic diet and commenced a fruitarian diet, where you only eat raw fruit, and said he noticed a difference almost immediately. As part of his research, I love that we're calling this research, Fabian then stumbled across information about drinking urine. I've always been open-minded about that sort of thing, so I decided to give it a go and drink it fresh.
What are all these photos of him? Is he sitting like on a football field?
He's legitimately sitting on a football field again.
Is he wearing the Sheffield? Is it because it's Sheffield United?
He's legitimately sitting on a football pitch with pints of his own urine. Pints of his own urine. It tasted a bit bitter, like a bitter ale originally. It was quite strong, but not a terrible taste. I had no problem finishing the glass. The effects he felt were...
He's so frank.
Maybe we can get in contact with Fabian and find out on the only scale that matters how he would rate.
Can we please message him and just ask him? I'm serious.
The effects he felt were even more instantaneous than those of his fruitarian diet. It was about half an hour later that I started to feel amazing. I was absolutely bursting with energy. Now I'd never go a day without it and would recommend it to anyone. Having felt better for drinking fresh urine, Fabian then decided to leave some for up to a month to ferment until it reached a pH level of 9. What I love, there's a picture here of him putting a pH counter into his urine to show that it's reached a pH level of 9.
It's basic.
This, he explains, is because by the aging of urine, it goes through a magnification process, and any purported benefits are made more potent. Explaining the process of aging his urine, Fabian says, I store it in glass containers like mason jars, label it with the date, and then leave it for around about 30 days. That's actually the end of the article.
The article leaves you with this emphatic way to ferment piss. As if they've just... Like... This is it. This is our conclusion. This is it. The Mirror UK. All I heard from that was Sheffield interior designer drinks his own piss.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I love too? Is can you imagine you're a single man, and you're sitting there and you're going,
why am I single?
You know what? Gonna bring a lady over to my house. Comes over to your house. She's like, I'm really liking this guy. I'm digging his vibe. He's, it's kind of cool.
I'm digging his vibe.
You get there and there's just these jars.
I'm calling you out, James.
I'm
digging his vibe. I'm calling you out.
No, they're just.
Is this how?
There are just these jars. Is
this how woman in your life?
Yep. There are just these jars sitting on a shelf.
I didn't know it's the boat that rocked.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, they're legitimately jars.
Yeah, there's jars.
Sitting on his, shelves with dates on them. And you're like, what's that? And
he's like a real shit serial killer. Like,
that's my urine.
Have jars with animals and shit.
That's my urine. What are you saving that for? Oh, I'm just letting it ferment so it gets a little bit more pissy before I drink it, in 30 days' time. Because you know what? It's grand whenever we get to,
Also, he's an interior designer, so do you think he's taken that into account? Like, when he now does interior design, does he incorporate jars and things?
But I mean, just what the hell? I'd love to know what this research he's done in terms of, actually drinking your own urine is fantastic for you.
That's great.
The stuff that your body excretes and doesn't need, just whack it back in again. Yeah. There's a...
Ask anyone who's been lost at sea or stranded on an island how that works.
They feel amazing after about 10 minutes of drinking
the scurvy feels great. By the way, please, actually, the photos in that article are so funny. Look at the photos in that article.
The photos are amazing.
He's for some reason, he's wearing a football. I feel like Sheffield, because it's the Mirror, I feel like Sheffield United sponsored it. No, and they were like,
Sheffield,
all right, go on and book it. And he's just on his knees, holding two bottles.
If anything, Sheffield are like, no. Our
football club's way too flimsy for this.
We are not associated with piss, man. This is not a thing.
But they are. He's kneeling on a football pitch for some reason.
Yeah, but with pints of his own urine. Not even little bits, pints. And what I love is they're in flash bottles. This is some kind of...
Looks very good.
Some kind of... amazing drink that nobody's come across, and he's like, you know what, guys, I've discovered this amazing, new drink. You should have this drink. It's amazing. Oh, what is it, Fabian? Oh, it's my own piss. I sit around and I ferment it for 30 days with labels on and people go, you are insane.
You're actually so
We
bad.
need to lock you up.
You're a
There is
killer.
something drastically wrong with you. That you seem to think that whenever, you have access to food and access to, a well-balanced diet, you're sitting there going, no explanation for why I was feeling whenever I ate fast food all the time.
No.
Why I felt rubbish. And you know what? Drinking piss makes me healthy. What the hell?
On a more serious note, I mean, I know it's on
a more serious note.
I know it's Uncanny Valley, but...
Esoterica does not
that's an illness.
condone you drinking your own urine.
That's an illness that the Mirror have exploited. It's an illness.
Yep.
That's an illness.
The blingers, the clingers, and the mingers. Yep,
yeah.
it's that. If you don't understand what I mean by the blingers, the clingers, and the mingers, read read Ben Elton.
Yeah.
Blingers, clingers, mingers.
Read Ben Elton, co-author of We Will Rock You.
Which we slammed on the last podcast. Well done.
Author of hits such as Maybe Baby.
well, what do you call it?
No, I like Ben Elton. I shouldn't do that.
I was going to say, we're just going out of our way to be sponsored by everyone.
I actually really like Ben Elton.
So we're now adding to our list of sponsors, we're now adding the Mirror.
Mirror UK.
To stuff.co.nz, to Muffin Break, to New Zealand Herald. We're doing well.
We're doing really well. That's great.
Just offending everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that brings an end to Uncanny Valley, and we're moving into 30-second waffle. Always our favorite part always our favorite part of the podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for those of you that jumped onto Discord. Answered producer Caroline's message for emergency waffle. Thank you.
There's no minion question.
Yes.
Hey.
So please remember, if you do want a question added to Little Pots, or want a question discussed here on 30-second waffle, please jump onto the Discord. Please put it under 30-second waffle. Ant and I cannot see that particular section, so you're communicating directly with producer Caroline there. So we'll see how we go. So you went first last time, didn't you? So it's my turn to go first. I don't know whether going first or second is a benefit.
I think you're delaying the inevitable if you go second. I feel like going first.
I'm worried. I'm always worried.
You should be
about 30-second waffle. Okay. Ooh, this is a Discord question, and this is from Ant. Love you, Ant. This is clearly one of my students. Why is the viola a superior instrument?
Nice.
This is going to be hard.
It's not hard, it's true.
The viola is a superior instrument to almost any other instrument because it performs a unique part within the orchestral sound or within the string quartet sound. The same way that an alto, because it performs the same role, the same way that an alto does within a choir. So the viola is a superior instrument because it picks up all of those wonderful harmonies that nobody else will play. Generally, it plays a far more complicated part and adds flavour and colour to the overall structure of the piece. Violas are awful.
Nice.
Reminds me of the age-old joke.
You're gatekeeping.
Do you know, it reminds me of the age-old joke. How do you know a soprano's at the door?
They'll tell you.
No, they can't find the key and don't know when to come in.
That's good. That's very good. That's nice.
And I'm gonna plagiarize from Victor Borger here. What's the difference between a violin and a viola?
What?
Viola takes longer to burn. Right. Okay.
Nice. That's good. Good question.
You're up. Good question. Very good question. Hard question to answer.
Okay. This is from Discord.
Ooh.
From Esoterica Superfan.
Well, that's a smile. What's the question?
The question is, Nickelback, better and more important than Radiohead?
Oh, I love this. Oh, Jesus.
Nickelback are better and more important than Radiohead because Nickelback entered the mainstream radio zeitgeist in the early 2000s and never stopped. They became one of the most famous bands of all time, and although you could debate that perhaps they're not musically as impressive as Radiohead, they have entered mainstream discussion, they've entered the mainstream household far more than Radiohead have, and in fact have defined post-rock music to this decade.
Oof. Well done.
I need a shower.
That was hard. That was.
I need a shower after that.
That was awful.
I was struggling to find.
That was legitimately awful.
I was struggling to find anything positive to say about Nickelback.
That was
other
awful.
than the fact that they're popular. Well done, you're popular.
That was.
Yeah.
Ooh, in terms of horrific questions to be asked.
That was horrific.
That was a horrific question. Well done, Esoterica Superfan. That was.
Yuck. They've done their research.
They've
done their research.
I don't know that I could have answered that question.
Yeah, it was horrible.
That was.
It was horrible.
You remind me of what I wanna be.
Look at this photograph.
What is that?
And I love that lyric where it's like, why is his eyes so red? It's like, wow, that's so cool. His eyes are red. It means he's high. Very edgy, Nickelback.
Yeah,
rock and roll.
Okay. Another Discord question from friend of the show, Monika. Monika, this worries me. Oh no, I've already answered this question. This was the same question as last time. Why is tomato sauce better than mayo? Already answered that one.
On International Women's Day.
And actually, funnily enough, like let's just say, I'd like to take this opportunity to say that apparently, is it Tip Top are coming out with a tomato sauce flavored ice cream. I'm not even joking. They're coming out. Watties and Tip Top are getting together to come out with a tomato sauce flavored ice cream. Think boysenberry Ripple, but like tomato sauce Ripple. I'm not even joking. Like, this is a thing. Apparently, like, this comes about because a number of Kiwis responded to a survey saying that the weirdest thing they put on their ice cream, or the thing they like to put on their ice cream, is tomato sauce. I know. I mean, it disgusts me too, Anthony. It disgusts me too. But apparently it's a thing. I'm disappointed in humanity.
Nuke the planet, honestly.
Yep.
What's the point in doing this podcast? No, I'm serious. Like,
if you're gonna eat,
what is the point in
ice cream?
trying to even mitigate this deeply disturbing landscape that we call New Zealand if you have people that have tomato sauce ice cream?
Just nuke it now.
Let's just grow up. Grow up.
But just why?
No
why?
Point. Just destroy it.
Why?
Destroy it. Destroy the planet.
Destroyed my faith in humanity.
And, you always think, humanity finds a way. We deserve so much better. Do we? Does humanity...
Tomato sauce ice cream?
Do we actually deserve so much better as a human race if we have people putting tomato sauce on their ice cream? I always think, we deserve...
New law, anybody who puts tomato sauce on their ice cream is not allowed to breed.
Yeah,
forever.
Agreed.
That's it. You're not allowed to have children. It's actually child abuse.
It is.
Sorry.
It's child abuse. Oh, God.
I know. It's disgusting. Okay, here we go. This is from Sim. Oh, good. Sim's always asking great questions. Oh, God. Oh. List 5 reasons. I've got to come up with 5 why Will Smith's Genie is better than Robin Williams' Genie.
I don't know that you need 5 and 30 seconds is crazy.
Oh, this is crazy. I don't even know that I can answer this, obviously, because I haven't seen the live action film yet. Okay, so 5 reasons. It's a live action film. People will love a live action remake of Aladdin. Remakes generally better than the originals. Better graphics, streamlined storyline. 3. Who doesn't love Will Smith? Like, Will Smith is amazing. If anybody was going to do a good job. 4. It's a man in blue body paint. Who doesn't love a man in blue body paint? 5.
Blue Man Group.
I don't know. I couldn't get through 5. I couldn't do 5 in 30 seconds.
No, that's hard.
5 in 30 seconds. And again...
That's 6 seconds. But
also because the film obviously hasn't come out. I haven't seen the film. So, like, I can't tell you. I feel really sorry for Will Smith. And I feel really sorry for... I mean, he's copped so much flack for daring to do a role that Robin Williams made great and stuff.
But it's not about that, though, is it? It's about the terrible CGI. It's the CGI that's
But it's also... But again... Lots of people haven't seen this. It's another one of those prime examples of people jumping on.
The trailer was awful.
Yeah, but like I'm just like, dude, can't we just be happy?
No, we can't.
That there's a live action like Aladdin remake coming out.
Why? No, why? Why do we need it?
Why do we have to be mean and horrible?
Because it's necessary.
So
James.
You're gonna sit there, and watch the film,
I will,
and bitch away eating your tomato sauce ice cream.
I will,
because
I won't do that. No, because James, you hear that?
I feel sorry for the guy.
Do you hear that? Do you guys at home, the listeners, dear listeners, can you hear that?
Probably not.
That's the sound of everyone who asked for a live-action Aladdin film.
Since when has that mattered? We get all sorts of things we don't ask for. Michael Bay directing more Transformers films.
And I'm not saying that's good either. I hate that.
I just feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for the guy. All right, cool. Last one.
Here we go.
Here we go.
God.
Why are the minions amazing?
No, thank you.
Why are the minions your personal spirit animal?
This is from Discord, Caroline fan.
Ooh. Appropriate on International Women's Day. Uh-oh. That's a look. What's the question?
It's an interesting spelling of murderers. Murderees. Murderers are good people.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, alright. Did I have to come up with 5 reasons why murderers are good people?
Murderers are good people because we currently face a population crisis. So, currently the carbon footprint that every person on average emits is well beyond the capacity or means of planet Earth in order, to be able to support each person. We are running out of resources, food, water, shelter, and murder is good because it's a form of population control that helps to mitigate that. And
I so knew that's where you were going to go with that argument.
Just to make it very clear, because this is a public forum, and I feel I need to do this because that's a very awful thing to have just said. I don't believe or agree with anything I just said.
Esoterica does not in any way condone murdering other people.
Esoterica doesn't endorse murder.
No.
You heard it here first.
Yes. I do have to say that what I love is these questions, especially the Discord questions, are getting harder and harder to answer.
They are. Yeah.
Like they are actually.
Well, I'm just glad they're no longer mentioned.
It's good. Like they're actually, as people obviously get to know us more on Discord and stuff like that, and have more conversations with us, you'll get to know what our particular triggers are. Yeah. I personally think the Nickelback versus Radiohead question, that was a doozy.
That was so
That was a doozy. That has
actually
to be,
threw me a little
that
bit.
has to be question of the week. Yeah. That really was a well thought out question. So well done on that one. That was
shiver me timbers.
That was a hard one.
It was really hard.
And well done on that one. So you guys are doing such a good job of starting to come up. And
definitely.
The more you interact with us on Discord and stuff, the more you'll get, as I said, to know what our personal tics are, our personal triggers, and be able to give us questions that really will stump us.
Yeah.
So I think that about brings us to an end. So I just want to say again, I'm going to plug it again. Come and join us on the Discord. It's the best way of being in contact with the three of us. We're all very active on Discord. Love chatting away with you guys. Love that interaction. Again, come and join us on the streams. If you haven't joined us on a Twitch stream, or you've never been on Twitch before, it's not scary, I promise you. You can download Twitch free from Google Play or anything else like that. Praise scary. On any of your sort of chosen platforms, download Twitch, free app. Jump on, follow Esoterica Pod, and please give us a follow on Twitch. We're especially pushing Twitch at the moment because we're looking at getting affiliated, and once we get affiliated, we can come up with all sorts of really cool custom emotes for you guys and that sort of stuff to interact with us, and also helps to throw a little bit of money our way, which helps us to continue on with this podcast and continue on with the streams. Other than that, follow us on all other social media. Follow the links below for the articles and stuff that we've talked about this week. If you have anything that you would like us to discuss on this podcast, anything that you'd like to talk to us about, please hit us up on social media. We look forward to seeing you all. Enjoy. I hope you have a fantastic International Women's Day.
Yes.
I hope you really truly appreciate the wonderful women in your life. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your life now for 17 episodes, 17 hours of us talking.
Goodness me,
it's insane.
The moon's almost sort of orbited.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it? So thank you for allowing us to do what we do. Have a great week.
Yeah,
thank you.
Catch you later.